Hello there, Reject Nation. I'm Greg Alba.
I'm John Humphrey.
We're gonna watch YouTubers react to Try Not to Get Mad challenge. This is a top reward tier video request from a beautiful man whose nipple I would lick, named Eric Horstman.
Oh boy.
It was his birthday very recently, so happy birthday to you, Eric. You know we love the shit out of you. I watch Haunting of Hill House primarily because of you. You were the guy who got the Real Rejects tattoo. The day you find out when you're gonna be dying soon, let us know. We will fly to Atlanta and we will meet you. You have our word. You have my word. Not his. He's not as reliable, but you have my word.
I'll show up at the very end, just as you're about to die.
Yeah, and then he'll linger way too long in the hospital room.
I'll talk to all of the different doctors and stuff, and you know.
It's the John reputation.
And then I'll get caught a bunch of times on the way out trying to help people. And...
I was mad when I tweeted that, and I'm just as mad as I am now.
Come on!
So, we are here at VidCon, one of the happiest places on earth for a YouTuber.
Yes, we are.
But this challenge...
I hate
makes me a little
VidCon.
unhappy.
Just found some VidCon swag.
All the juice from inside of a gusher.
This is a try not to get mad challenge.
Okay, actually I have problems getting mad. I'm like not very good at getting mad. So
I have a
I'm gonna do
hard
this.
time getting mad.
I was like, it depends on like what is being shown that's gonna send me off.
Perfect for this.
Very bad tempo.
We freak out. I already lost my voice from screaming at a fast food worker. Is this good to break when I like on the computer? Breakable.
I'm excited. Are you just gonna show me a picture of the algorithm? Oh, mad.
Okay, we're uploading a video, guys. It's 93%, 94.
This is
I
very
know it's
frustrating.
stuck at 95 forever.
Oh, is this just gonna load the whole time?
Nope, never seen this before, and it doesn't make me mad.
Like,
Look, we're laughing. We're not,
I'm totally having.
we're not angry.
Well, it's just processing at this point, so it's not really even uploading anymore. But I don't know, so I never know if I can like just save changes and exit out, or if that will like ruin it.
What are you doing?
No, you can.
The last 5%. Is that the last 10 seconds of the video? Do you have this problem with outros? What is the problem?
It's literally YouTubers react to try not to get mad challenge. It's this video. How are you doing this in the future? This is all of our nightmares. We all hate this.
This is around the time when I'd be trying to psychically.
Gives you time to fill out this description.
Yeah.
I don't like this. No, I don't think. Who would? It's every day though. This is like life. It's alright. It feels like we're at work right now.
I don't think I'm gonna get mad about this.
Yeah, no, because this isn't my video, so
It sucks for them.
At this point, you just you go into sleep mode, and you're like, you know what I'm gonna do is anything but watch this happen.
I mean, I want to get mad at this. I'm not gonna let it happen. I want to be in, so I'm not mad.
I want to be in the video.
Yes.
I want to be in the...
Comments that are people just spamming.
Spamming.
Oh god.
Nah, those usually go to review section now.
Sub for sub, really? Is that still happening?
Our
That
spam
is
filter's
very
pretty
annoying.
good.
Yeah, spam YouTube comments drive me crazy.
To be honest, I don't get this anymore. I've just filtered every single one of these comments.
Like if you love your mom
Like
and don't
that
want her to
guy.
die. I've seen that a few times.
As a real
I
human
always
being,
like
you can
that.
comment whatever you want. You can advertise your website, your gift card giveaway. I think this is fine.
This does annoy me. I am mad. I'm mad. Cause my fans are young and I feel like they fall
She
for
has
it. And
such
then I
a
get all
big
these
smile.
Like,
I know.
why didn't you give me an iPhone? And I'm like, it's not me.
Such a...
The one that gets me
Cheerful.
really
I'm
upset
so
is
mad.
People look like my verified account, and
Hey man, some people
and
just
it's
always
not.
look like they're
It's
smiling.
not. But YouTube comments as a rule, it's just not it's just not a happy place.
When you're first
I don't know
starting out,
about
they're
that.
really annoying, but by the time you do this for, you know, a second, it's really not. It's just like, yeah, that's a thing. Bye.
Does this happen?
Oh yeah.
Spam comments like
Yeah,
this?
for sure.
I do feel bad for people trying to have a conversation with their viewers on
Yeah.
YouTube.
It seems like in the year of our Lord 2019, with the smartest computer programs in the world, Google should be able to know about the fake stuff. I mean, they know where I am all the time. They know what I'm interested in. They know, like, when I most recently ate Doritos. How come they can't get rid of sub for sub?
Oh.
Ah, fuck you! Oh, we're dummy.
Or you have the
Wherever.
monetization is limited or no ads.
Cheap
not suitable
shot.
for all advertisers. Simple. The elusive and mysterious
Matches his
symbol. Nobody understands why it appears or when it appears.
What
I am
is
angry
that?
thinking about how confusing the system is.
I don't even know what that is. So I'm not mad.
This happens so often that we're used to it.
Who needs money?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is. We make educational content.
Yeah, but it's great. Yeah, they don't really demonetize educational video that often.
I don't cuss in my videos, and not even 1% of my videos has this beautiful yellow golden button, right? Yeah, no. I'm fine.
That yellow icon doesn't just mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that your videos are just not going to get shared in the algorithm, but it means whether or not I'm going to be able to pay your rent next month. Could you imagine if you went to work at a normal job and then just instead of getting your paycheck, you just got a yellow money sign letting you know this week you're not getting paid because you sweared once at work?
This guy is failing so many
this.
times.
And you're
He's
like,
failed them all.
the video is fine. And then they review it and they're like, yeah, it was fine.
It was
And
fine.
I'm like, why did you yellow button it?
A year ago, this made us very, very angry. But now I feel like we've figured out, okay, we can't use the term weapons in our titles anymore. We used to do like ninja weapons and stuff. It's like, okay, now they're ninja gadgets.
Yeah.
You slowly figure out, what you can do and what you can't do.
If I got mad about every
No.
YouTube thing ever, my life would be so miserable and I would have given up a very long time ago. So I see things like this and I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, this thing that we deal with, and it's like, I guess I've trained myself not to get angry.
I got 600
Well
videos
adjusted.
that have this, so I'm very familiar.
You counted?
Yes.
Well, I just was too lazy to check anything
Yeah.
at all. So yeah, that's one of the worst parts about
This is the
YouTube.
face you see before you die.
Many creators on YouTube are familiar with this icon. So if that alone didn't get you mad, here's some posts from YouTube creators with issues they've had with the website.
All right.
Craig Thompson saying like he's tried to like changed how his videos are to not swear, and then him not swearing has like triggered YouTube to think he's swearing more, and he doesn't know what to do anymore. That's so upsetting. I know that so much of the queer community on YouTube also suffers because of this, based off of videos that are just trying to help educate and making people feel welcome.
I can't pretend to not be upset about it, just because like I feel like that would mean me like pretending to like adopt that attitude that I hate, like the sort of that's the nature of the beast sort of thing. It's like, no.
No, there's something that can be done.
Excited
Yeah,
for
you guys
finally
lost.
UMG to remaster some of the most iconic music videos of all time. Yay! YouTube partnered with UMG. Meanwhile, Mr. Beast responds and says they literally could just use the hundreds of thousands of dollars they profited of just my videos to do this. Which he's referring to all the copyright claims that he got for humming one of their songs, or maybe in the background a trucker drove by and he was listening to one of their songs.
Last year, I got like 17 emails from YouTube saying like, this video has been claimed, this video has been claimed, this video has been claimed. It was like all of them at once, and I had never experienced
1 year?
issues like that before. It must have been like the day that
Try 3 days. Especially what we do.
I am mad that that email
Makes sense,
thread
though.
down there, that is literally what our YouTube
Try
was
most
like.
of the time.
Every video gets I get like 400 of those a day.
So Mr. Beast is showing all of his copyright claims. I feel you there. We used to get a lot of those. We used to get a lot of parodies.
If you're literally getting wrongfully dinged, that's really frustrating. Yes, absolutely. And I do get mad on behalf of other creators. There's a difference between things that are frustrating and things that are unfair. And that's like I'll get mad at something.
This video is becoming a real serious discussion.
This is a deep dive into the struggles of YouTube.
And you spend money to make a video. A lot of people have editors, they have teams, they have production, and to put a video up that you spent all this time and money making and then not make money back from it, it's like a stab in the stomach. People, when they go to work, they get paid, but when you're a YouTuber, it's not guaranteed.
Only 2 of the top 10 most subscribed to YouTube channels are not mainstream celebrities or big corporations.
YouTube used to be about people.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I think we're in a time now where you can't make it on YouTube unless you're a corporation.
Yeah.
T-Series #1. First of all, That pisses me off. Corporations, they're gonna win. They're gonna take over the world, okay? They're gonna, you know, our kids are gonna have like Gucci on their foreheads and stuff. This gets me mad.
Well, something gets popular, they monetize
We're
it.
trying to eat the digital world. It's just, we thought they would have to build their own platform. We didn't know that YouTube was just going to hand them ours. It's not even that I'm mad. I'm just depressed.
What's incredibly discouraging about it are the
passed.
people that are starting.
He didn't
and
get mad,
feel like
yeah.
There's no way to compete.
I've been angry about it for so long. It didn't make me more angry.
That's a
just
great
now
point, though,
because
what he
I
just made.
know, and I've been upset about it all this time.
Right, it was more of just like a.
It's just become so corporate. Like, who are these TV people? You guys have your own network, TV network.
I do miss the old days of YouTube. I remember looking at like the top 10, and it was like, you know, Ray William Johnson,
Shane Dawson.
Shane Dawson.
Ray William Johnson, man.
I haven't thought about that guy in a while.
Bo Burnham.
Doesn't necessarily make
Bo.
me too upset. I think like, you know, they have the resources to be up there.
If I was a bigger creator, maybe I'd be more annoyed. It's not surprising to me that large corporations have taken advantage of it and they're using it to its maximum.
They have a whole team putting all that together, so.
Yeah, so they should be at the top.
Yeah.
That's just how it
The
works.
production, the turnaround time, all that makes sense.
Subscribers isn't an important, like, it stopped being an important metric to me a long time ago.
Thank you. God.
YouTube is acting up so bad, no one's getting notifications.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Heard that forever. We get people automatically unsubscribed every day. The second this video went up, this people got unsubscribed without even doing anything.
What is up with that? I don't get it. That is frustrating, and I know that it's frustrating not only for us but also the people who want to watch our videos.
It's even me! Yay! I'm in there! I was mad when I tweeted that, and I'm just as mad as I am now.
I'm mad as hell.
They are showing you the tip of the iceberg. You know, if you reload the front page, you might be able to see 40 thumbnails when there's 400 hours worth of video uploaded every minute. I understand that and I get that, but if they click that subscription button, they will see that subscription. And then, of course, don't forget the notification bell, because the 4 million people that signed up to my channel before the notification bell ever existed, they don't have notifications turned on for my channel. How could they? It didn't exist, and they didn't grandfather them in. So that's what we needed, was a second subscription button. Thanks, YouTube.
YouTube used to have the subscription box front and center. It actually used to be when you went to youtube.com, it would show your subscriptions immediately on the front page. Now you have to make extra clicks to get to your subscription feed. Almost nobody clicks there.
It used to be you could subscribe, and that was enough. And then you have to also click the bell. And then for a while that seemed to be enough. And now it's just like they just kind of do whatever they want. Doesn't matter. You can beg and plead to see a video, but if they don't want to show it to you, they're not going to show it to you.
It is weird that when you click on the notification bell, it like asks you, do you want notifications all the time or just sometimes? And sometimes people don't even realize that, and so they click on sometimes because they're just like, okay, I don't know what this means. And then they're like, wait, why aren't I getting notifications for your video? And it's because like you're letting the algorithm decide.
You want to be able to reach your audience and ultimately not being in control of that.
It's like a fucking
is really
documentary.
frustrating.
We know all this.
I try not to go.
But it's just
to
like,
that-
what? It's like a whole YouTube exposure video right here. Yeah. Like to a very.
Does this feel like a
Not
deep
mad. It
dive?
sounds like 99.9% of the time they work, but what people are referring to here, and that's a lack of knowledge often, is that your video isn't getting views because it doesn't appear in sub boxes. Your video isn't getting views because it's not shown on the homepage. Doesn't piss me off at all. It's more of a, if my video doesn't do well in the first hour, I sit down and I say, guys, we gotta make a better video next time.
So we got one last video for you guys.
Save the best for last.
Any idea what this could be?
Okay, let's think. Alright, I think it's Rick Astley. That's messed up. It's Will Smith and like,
It's the girl who. Really? Is it?
come on. Now we're gonna give you one. Clearly have been rickrolled too many times. Too many times? No.
I'm not mad at this. You didn't dupe me.
Oh. See, now I'm just nostalgic.
See, that's the thing, is it just makes me happy now.
Tension and release.
Yeah.
Okay. You got me. I'm a little bit angry. I was expecting something else.
Oh, he's happy.
Thank you. I needed that right now.
I'm gullible, so I get this a lot. I'm used to it.
Come on!
Aww.
Oh, remember that back in the day?
This was like a joke back in the day or something.
I always thought it was fun.
Did we just get rickrolled?
Yes.
How can you get mad about getting rickrolled?
I love that song. It's a classic.
I haven't
Dude,
been
that guy's
successfully
great at this game.
rickrolled
I
in
know.
many
He's
years.
like a Zen
I have.
master.
Oh, yeah. I gotta take off my headphones.
Well, I think you just won this challenge.
And all I had to do was lie.
I knew there's a reason I like that guy.
I don't have enough energy to get angry at it because there's nothing I can do about it.
There's different phases of anger where, you know, well, now we're past anger.
Anger, aggression, rage.
That's just part of being on
That's-
YouTube.
yeah.
I lost heart there, didn't I? After being on the platform now for 13 years and managing to stay relevant for the last 13, I got a feeling this is probably my final throw because I just can't deal with it anymore.
So, finally, what is one thing about YouTube that makes you the complete opposite of mad, something that you love about YouTube?
What do I love on YouTube? Being able to express my creativity and make
Express yourself.
I love the platform that it gives
I
to
mean, he
regular
does have
people.
some kind of Eastern European
I
style
owe my
accent,
career to it.
perhaps.
I owed so much to it. I met so many friends from it.
I love the fans. That's why I
Look at
do
this
everything I do.
positive
It's,
YouTube
there's
bringing
so
it
many
back.
people
Yeah.
here, and I hope that's what my content does.
Obviously, the fans, the viewers, it's the best thing in the world. The whole point of coming to VidCon to me, as much as it is fun to do these interviews, do these collaborations, and hang out with other creators, the best part is meeting the fans and hanging out with the fans. The fact that I know I'm entertaining you and keeping you guys happy, I love you guys.
Thanks for watching this episode of YouTubers React.
Make sure you check out all of the creators featured in this episode. The links are down below. If this episode made you mad, let me know in the comments.
Goodbye, y'all.
Hey, it's Sierra, producer here at FBE. Thank you so much to all the YouTubers who came out to shoot with us here at VidCon. Make sure you subscribe to their channels. All the links will be down in the description below.
Oh, this
Bye,
was
guys.
shot at VidCon?
Yeah. Look out.
They made a YouTube bash video at VidCon.
Yep. Just going right from the eye of the hurricane, man.
Nice. Respect. Respect.
The gutsy move right there from the Fine Bros. But hey, I mean, they're gutsy folks, you know.
All right, we primarily do reactions here, so we'll go over all the topics that they talked about here. Well, at least most of them. First off, here's what I want to say to everything that they talk about here. I generally, I'm kind of sick of talking about this shit, to be honest.
It's just a weird reminder of like having them all in one video.
If you know me in real life, you know that I generally avoid YouTube talk. When we were at Comic-Con, there was someone who brought up to me, he's like, so what's your schedule like? What's your upload schedule? Like someone just started asking all these questions and I had to literally just go, I don't want to talk. I remember it was the first day I met this guy. And I was like, I don't want to talk about that.
My
honestly.
first reaction was, oh, you're not going to enjoy this conversation.
Yeah, because everything they're talking about, especially with like yellow dollar bill signs or whatever, when we first were getting really hit with that, and we still have the repercussions of yellow dollar bill signs all the time. Every reaction channel complains about demonetization. All right, that's nothing new. Yeah, there was a time where I was just stuck in like for like a solid year and a half of just like negativity, and I had to just move past it. There's some stuff here where one guy was talking about the nature of the beast and whatever. There are some sides to it where I am just like, yeah, that it's just the way business is. I think a lot of times when people start up YouTube channels, they forget to factor in that this is a business, and I fucking forget that, dude. Any business, any industry is subject to change beyond your control. Anything you participate in. YouTube was this beautiful, and it still is in a lot of ways, this really cool platform that has allowed people to put up their stuff for free on this like huge website, and then you could earn a profit off of it. That's crazy. You know, like think about that. It's like we're so used to the concept of YouTube offering that, but that's still fairly new. It's always been a bit of a bummer. People always talk about YouTube steals my money, YouTube steals this. Even from the very beginning, before all this stuff happened with algorithm changes and yellow dollar bill signs, the rules of fair use are beyond confusing now. You know, people are like 10 seconds, 20 seconds. I've gotten this video blocked worldwide for 5 seconds. What is the fair use rule here? I get it. The common rule of thumb is YouTube takes what is it, like 45% of your AdSense revenue.
Yeah, something like
and then
that.
you
Something
get a
big.
pocket 55%. I think that's what it is. But then again, it's like you're putting up your content for free. You're not paying to put up your shit.
They're giving
on
you
it.
all
Yeah.
of the UI and all of the server space and all that stuff.
See what I'm doing right now? Imagine this. This is the dick of YouTube. And I'm just bend over, John.
This video is no longer advertiser
Nah, screw it, who
friendly.
cares?
It is weird to go back and see all of these in a condensed space because, yeah, so much of it now does feel like, okay, these are just the pitfalls that come with any platform or something like that. Because you are just at the mercy of YouTube, and I think what this has taught everybody is that YouTube itself still is kind of the same thing it's always been. Anybody can get an account and upload and find people who want to see that. When it comes to all of this stuff, I think this has really taught us the importance of diversity, and like with the advent of Patreon really taking off, it's shown people that you can't perhaps only rely on YouTube because you're always going to be subject to whatever they want to do with their platform and however they want to accommodate their advertisers, and so you're just not going to ever have all the control that you want, you know?
No, and when it comes to change, it's usually in the hands of the people, like the viewers. It's like a big saving grace for a lot of this has been the viewers. Patreon being a prime example of it. I feel like viewers in general have been way less critical of seeing sponsorship deals or brand deals at the top of videos or in the middle of videos. There was a time before any of this mattered. Like the second you had a brand deal, freaking sellouts, da-da-da-da-da. When that was always part of the game. That's always part of the growth in doing this kind of work. Now more people than ever are doing more brand deals because they have to. Beyond that, though, I noticed that viewers are less likely to, there's always those people who do exist who sell out, who just don't understand. But for the most part, I've noticed less dislikes because there's a brand deal. There's more support for getting brand deals now. Most people have Patreon pages now.
Yeah.
So viewers have really helped keep things alive. So,
well, and I think that weirdly enough, vlogging, like the popularity of vlogging really helps because I'm sure that through that window, a lot of people have gotten to see what the actual life is like. Not that every YouTube show has the same lifestyle, but a lot of that home-based business stuff that people might not realize is involved and everything. So like the perspectives, I think from the fan side are different now too, because the layers, the veils are thinner.
Since like I started doing the reactions here, reactions in general were just like freaking hated on. It was crazy, man. And then when we were at Comic-Con, I had a lot of really in-depth conversations with Struggle Nation, who you might know, Ecomog Media Group, and also Fail Whale. They were telling me how reactions are just a category on YouTube now, and to see where reaction channels have grown beyond just a few people doing it, and how they were once considered the cancer of YouTube. And now, like, so many people do it, so many channels have implemented it into their channels as well. It's because of viewers becoming more acceptable of changes and acceptable of something new happening. So now more than ever, when people say stuff like, it's because of you guys, the fans, I've always thought that was kind of pretentious, and I've always found it to be rather false. Logically speaking, the gratitude is well earned towards the viewers. Like to you guys, when people say that, like to you guys, because it's because of you guys that people can still have channels now, that people can still thrive, that things can adapt and grow and change happens amongst the medium where there is people at top, the corporations who are usually maneuvering everything around and generally kind of screwing over content creators. It was around the time I started Patreon where I'm like, I feel like some people who say it still sound fake. But for me personally, when I thank the viewers, I don't say it every day, but I do feel it every day. And when I say it, I really mean it. So thank you guys.
The relationship is just different now. And I think that's a really beautiful thing about the resurgence or the upswing of Patreon is just that kind of direct, transaction between artists and the people who want their creation,
Yeah.
Whatever that may be. I think that's a really simple way to do things. And it does kind of show, okay, what works, what doesn't. It helps you kind of grow your operation too in a different way because you can focus it. It's funny, I found out there's reactions even exist on TV. There's a show in the UK called Gogglebox that I had no idea existed. That's been going for years and years. There's just people reacting to TV shows. Watching TV, making comments, they just cut to a bunch of different households. And it's been going on for ages. And so like learning that too like helped bring the perspective of like, okay, just because this is on the internet doesn't mean that it's not valid. And other people have been doing this even on TV. Like,
yeah, definitely.
And this has also changed how I use YouTube too, because now more than ever I let ads play or I'll hit the like like button, or I'll just interact in ways I never used to. In ways, knowing all of this, for as much as there is to bitch about, can also help the community because it makes us more mindful.
I honestly think that there's always room for a reasonable amount of complaining in anything in life. There is a point, though, that I see with a lot of people involved in this field, especially, I think in anything in life in general, but I can only really speak about like the influence. I fucking hate that word. The influencer field. I can only speak about that field because that's the one I'm primarily active in. I think oftentimes, like, if you get caught up in that, I know it from personal experience, and I know it from just witnessing it too often, that if you stay stuck in the complaining and the negativity and what's wrong with the system you're working within, you won't experience any level of growth, and you won't know how to work around these things. Going through these really quick, the 95% process thing. So many times we've had to just wait, especially with what we do for the biggest trailers. Well, it happens a lot of the time is like we cover like a huge trailer comes out 6 to 9 a.m. in the morning, sometime there, right? And those are real, like, you got to get those up right away. Especially if you're not one of the top performing channels, you are going to really need to rely on being recommended or suggested, something like that, in order to really thrive. The stress that occurs when your video is stuck at 95%, because on average it's like we have a 1 minute intro, we do the trailer reaction, which is like 2 to 3 minutes, and then we talk for about 10 minutes reviewing the trailer. You're waiting for that process to finish. It is so stressful, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. Then you have to re-upload it. A little bit before Comic-Con, we did a live stream, and it went great. I love the live stream, and then it took about 48 hours for it to process and then finish going up on YouTube. And then because of the time it finished the process, it affected the algorithm of the preceding videos. So yeah, I can relate with that. Spam comments, I don't even notice them anymore. Honestly, I'm just like, whatever, let them exist. They're just a comment. Let it happen. Yellow dollar bill signs, always deal with that. To me, the yellow dollar bill sign doesn't make any sense anymore, especially because of the fact of how it's handled. I don't agree with the way they do it. I'm not exactly opposed towards it, though, especially when we've had to readjust for advertisers, considering the big $750 million pullout they had a couple years ago that started all this. I just think the system needs to change a little bit, because 9.9 times out of 10, we have it weekly. If we do a video, it gets the yellow dollar bill sign. Literally, it's so rare where they're like, nah, it's not advertiser friendly. So rare. So rare. So I just think that instead of having this clearly faulty automated system, everyone is going to request review anyway. For you guys who don't know, you get a yellow dollar bill sign, you hit request review, someone reviews it, I don't know who, one of the thousands of employees they have looking over this shit.
A child in a cage somewhere.
Probably, right? Like how people talked about here, they let it go. Philip DeFranco is constantly talking about this issue. So I'm just like, well, if everyone's gonna hit review, why don't you just review it first before you give it a yellow dollar bill sign, and then just give it a yellow dollar bill sign if it's clearly not going to be advertiser friendly. You get 80 to 90% of your views within that first 24 hours where it's not reviewed, and then you make literally no money off of it, and it's really sad.
I think it's just one of those cases where it's impossible because there's just too much content. I think they went with the approach of, let's just make this system that they said was supposed to be smart and was supposed to learn, and I don't know if it is. I feel like they led with, let's just flag on the really cautionary side, then if people don't like it, they can request a review. You know, like, that's the sense I get, is just sort of blanket them all, protect the advertisers.
But it doesn't make sense to me when I feel like more than 90% of the people who get that yellow dollar bill sign will request the review anyway. If it's already going to be reviewed, you might as well just review it first before you do that. It's not saving anyone time, and at that point, you are kind of just pocketing a lot of money that could be going towards the content creators who have worked their asses off on this video. And the corporate thing, I get why people are upset about it because of the fact of what its original cause was and how it did stem from just people, and now corporations have sort of taken over in terms of like what's most popular and what's most recommended. And you know, I remember there's this whole thing that Corridor Crew was talking about, something H3H3 talked about, with how, you know, you'll see talk show people talking about gun violence, and that's on the trending page, but H3H3 will get yellow dollar bill signs instead. There's this whole thing where we don't, like, YouTube doesn't tell you,
they don't standards.
They don't really tell you anything of what's going on behind the scenes. They don't, like, literally, I remember when suddenly the view count dropped significantly by millions of views within a month with this channel. I had no idea what was going on. I had to have someone else tell me, like, oh yeah, you gotta watch this video from like Philip DeFranco who found this out. YouTube doesn't announce shit. shit to you. But with corporate going on, I'm not too bothered by it, I suppose. It's like kind of a bummer in a sense, but I don't really have that much nostalgia with the roots of YouTube to be upset with it. To me, it's just kind of expected with anything that becomes this popular and this reliable for cheaper forms of advertisement. It just makes sense to me.
More people are on YouTube than are watching TV now, and so I think they realized that a lot of these, at least entertainment-based corporation shows, needed to kind of to remind you through this platform that their TV show does exist. There are things about it that I do think kind of suck for the habitat as a whole in terms of creation. Like, yeah, YouTube has creators from average Joe just uploading his first video today all the way up to the most recognizable people in the world, and I think that's cool in and of itself.
The notification bell issue, tell me about
That
it.
stuff doesn't seem to mean anything.
It doesn't mean subscribe buttons. Like someone brought up here that they stopped caring about subscribe buttons a long time ago, and yes, so like you never hear us like really pushing. I only push for it when I'm like, oh, we're so close to the next 100,000 mark. Normally I say subscribe to The Real Rejects after a video's done, but I wanted to say subscribe to The Real Rejects because we are so close to 600K. Just a few hundred more and we're there. We're like 1,000 away from 700,000. Like when we get to that point, then cool.
It feels nice.
I think subscriber counts, sure, it can make a difference in terms of like brand deals and recognition, and it's cool. I respect the people who, like, there's so many people who do this kind of content who have way more followers than us, and mad respect to them. At the same time though, when it comes to viewership, it doesn't always make that much of a difference. You can find people who have way more followers than us. Every once in a while, it's usually a few videos within a month where we'll cover the same exact video, but we'll get more views than that person who has hundreds of thousands of more followers than us. Subscriber accounts just don't mean as much. Not what he brought up. He has a great point about
it didn't exist and they didn't grandfather them in.
A lot of people who are already subscribed don't even think to hit that notification bell. It just makes sense why now more than ever subscribe buttons aren't as meaningful. There was a time where if you wanted to start up a YouTube channel, I would just be like, go for it, do it. You know, have fun, you know, just be consistent, be patient, and you'll get there eventually. Now, I always get a little worried when someone's like, I'm starting up a channel. Like sometimes, you know, there are people who still boom.
I'm James A. Janice. Yeah, there's just a lot of different stuff working against you, and there are a lot more corporate channels to get through in terms of hopping into the monetizable arena and stuff. It's not impossible, but it's just different.
It's a lot. It's just a much more challenging than ever before, and like what Azzy. What she was bringing up about how people do invest a lot of time and money. When we first started doing videos here, it was like just movie reviews weekly, and it was like hours and hours of editing and assembling. And then we had to realize like, well, this isn't worth the time right now, so we need to like really trim down to one camera instead of three. And like there's a lot to work around this. So people work their asses off, and then in the beginning it can be demotivating when you're like, man, I have to get this many, I have to do this much watch time, this many subscribers, all these views, like so much to factor in just to get monetized.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that when we started, so.
I feel like the early days can be more discouraging now.
Yeah, you gotta have thicker skin, you gotta have more perseverance than ever. But I still love YouTube. I mean, I'm still grateful for it. I would still rather have the complaints and struggles and issues that this territory comes with more than any other gig I can get right now, more than any other job I can get right now. I would much rather be able to run my own home-based business, do this kind of content, interact with followers, fans, subscribers, whatever you call it, have all these cool opportunities to work with like studios and whatever, go on other channels of people. Like I've been such a big fan of Screen Junkies for so long, and then the fact that I get to go over to their place and film with them now is like fucking amazing to me, because I'm like, I was genuinely like a real fan of you guys, you know? So it's pretty cool, like the opportunities it's allowed, so I'm still grateful for it. And while there's tough times, it's like, you just gotta be a lot more mindful with spending and how I spend my time and all these things and yada yada yada. It's just constant readjustment. It's the way it's the way any industry is. There's always gonna be, you know, like the shitty things you got to deal with. There's room for legitimate complaints, but then there's also got to be that wiggle room of time to move past it now, and what can we work with to still thrive. If you can be one of those guys, then you can still keep on going. You know, there was like a solid point where people were like, channel's dead, but I'm like, no, you can't say it anymore. Do we average 50K views like we used to? No, we don't. We still have some videos that within the past year during Adpocalypse that have hit over 1 million views, and some of our biggest videos of all time still come out within the last 6 months. So I'm like, no, we're still doing fine. And thanks to people at Patreon as well who have helped keep us alive. We're gonna have to really worry about the view count on YouTube as much as we used to. So thank you guys.
And to the brands who support small channels, like channels that are independent and stuff like this, because as much as people hate advertising, you know, you do get to meet some pretty cool people who are willing to work with you, and you know, cool stuff can happen there too.
So yeah, I think in times of trouble, there's still a lot of people who come around to help out. All right, guys. Well, thanks for being here. You can subscribe to the Reject Nation. Click that notification bell. Eric Horseman, happy birthday once again to you, buddy. Much love. We'll be talking some more on the Patreon, and go ahead and check out our Patreon page too, guys. Got weekly Q&As, TV show reaction stream-alongs. Many of those shows have reaction highlights included. Spend you know, like half the time editing for here and half the time editing for there. Go check it out.